Greetings, folks. Dice Kitty here, and I have another guest to interview. This is Mr. DeWitt with Fireside Games.
Hello, everybody.
If you are familiar with Fireside, then you know exactly what they make, and that is Castle Panic, the most panicky, fun, chaotic game in the world, and it's also a favorite of ours.
Nice.
Yep. So, how long have you been with Fireside Games?
Well, my wife and I actually started the company together. Officially, the company started in 2008, and we released Castle Panic in 2009. So we've been doing this 9 years now, about to be 9 years kind of thing. So yeah, it's been a long ride, but an interesting one.
Yeah, well, Castle Panic's amazing. It's got several expansions, and it's got different IPs to it.
Yep.
That's awesome. So you've done other games too, and this is a new one that's about to come out. It's called Grackles.
Yep.
And Grackles are blackbirds. So do you want to give a rundown real quick?
Sure, totally.
Okay.
Yeah, so Grackles are known for a couple of different things. The males of the birds are really beautiful, actually. They have an iridescent color to them. They almost look kind of like an oil slick in that they're primarily black, but in the right light you'll see blues, greens, and purples in their feathers. They also are famous for gathering on phone lines, especially when the sun goes down. That's what they do by the thousand. So we took that inspiration and took an abstract board game that we fell in love with, and we put them together. So now the colors are essentially the Grackle colors, purple, green, black, blue, and then you're lining everything up. It's an abstract game about essentially making lines of color. So that's what Grackles is about. It's really easy to play. There's one rule or one action you do on your turn and 4 choices of what to do with that action. You can, well, I should back up and say, you start with just these 2 tiles out of the board.
Yep.
We're kind of mid-game here with a little bit more expression there. You can draw a new tile. Every tile always has all 4 colors, but sometimes they're in different arrangements. You decide where you want to put it, and you have to put it orthogonal connected to another one. You can't put it diagonal or anything like that. The other option you can do is start making lines of birds. So if I was the player with the black pieces, what you want to do is start a line with one of your pieces of one space of your color and end it on another space of your color that's not covered, and you get everything in between. So I took over that purple space there and actually blocked that off. No one else can go across, through, or around that piece. It's locked out. You own that spot now. So now people are going to have to start going this way to get around me, come around this other edge, and each player is doing that kind of thing. Another option you can do is to extend a line. So let's imagine that someone had played a tile here. Maybe blue was trying to get a lot of blue pieces connected. Well, they've given me an opportunity to make my line longer. So I'll go ahead and drop 2 black birds like that kind of thing. What you can't do is make a 90-degree turn. It's about extending a line, not bending a line. So keep that in mind. And then one of the other things you can do is to rotate. So you're given 5 rotate tokens in the game, and as long as the tile is empty, doesn't have any birds on it, you can pay one of your rotate tokens and rotate it to a different orientation. So maybe in this case, maybe I'm giving myself some bit of an advantage or making it harder for someone else to score some things. But that's it on your turn. You're either drawing a tile and placing it, making a line of birds, making a line of birds longer, or rotating a tile. Sounds really easy. One of the tricks is the board can only ever be 5 tiles by 5 tiles. So even though we started here, we've kind of worked our way out this direction. If on our turn one of our players were to play their tile here, there's our 5. That's the end of as long as that could be. They could also have put it here, and now we've got a little more central to play with, but we're already at 4 this way, so that would be the end of that. Either way, we're going to hit the edge, and then we start filling in the extra. The game ends after all the tiles are played, so a full 5x5 grid is filled, and then all players then have made a point where they're passing. They can't play birds, they can't rotate. Once that happens, game's over, and you add up how many birds you got out there. The person who got the most birds on wires wins the game. It takes about 20 minutes maybe, and there's a lot more strategy than it sounds like going on in there.
Oh, definitely. Like, I played a game right before we recorded this.
Right.
And it took about 20 minutes to play, and it was super easy to learn. It's all about how you place your tiles and how you extend it with the birds on the lines and how you try to, mess the other people over by rotating the tiles. So it is a really, really fun game. And something that Fireside is known for are their player 8s. So they have done it again with a great player 8 card. So.
One of the things I'm also super proud of for this game, just to prove how easy it is, this is the rule sheet, and it's literally a sheet. Also, the back quarter is an ad. So it's that easy to play this game. It really is that simple.
Those are some of the best games.
Exactly. Good stuff.
So, are there any other games that you wanted to talk about?
Sure. This is going to be a little later in the year. This is going to be a September 1st release. We have another game coming out before that called Remnants, and it is a post-apocalyptic survival game. In that game, everyone is playing as a compound of survivors in a post-apocalyptic world where you have a group of survivors you send out, kind of like workers. You send them out into these Badlands board that has little tiles that look like the remnants of civilization. That's where we got the idea for the name of the game. It's things like wood, metal, cloth, plastic, and rope, and you're going to send them out like workers to collect them, but the way you collect is via a real-time dice rolling game, so that everyone has 4 dice that have all the icons of the wood, the rope, the plastic, etc., and you're going to roll on 3, basically. Everyone rolls, and when you get 3 of a kind, you can take one of those resources and put it on one of your survivors. So this is how you're collecting the resources. Each survivor brings back 1 resource. At the end of that round, you bring back your resources, you then spend them to buy cards in the game. These cards are things like building up some defenses, building up some weapons. Maybe you get buy a card that gets you more rope each turn or something like that. So you build kind of an engine, and you need the engine to get more stuff. You need the weapons because every other turn you're going to get attacked by some kind of a mutant creature or a Mad Max raider, and you'll have to fight them off with the weapons and the shields that you bought. So you're building this thing knowing that there are these threats coming, and so you have a couple of turns to build, and then you get attacked, and then another turn to build, and you get attacked. And it gets worse every time. So as the players level up and get better and better in their compounds, the bad guys get worse. You'll fight a level 1 bad guy, then a level 2, then a really big powerful boss at the end of the game. And when after you fight the boss, everyone adds up all their victory points. You get points for the cards you bought. Sorry. You get points for fighting the bad guys if you win, and then you get points for your survivors if they're healthy. You get points for survivors, and there are specialists that do extra stuff. They're worth more victory points too. There's also some cards that can get you more victory points if you have more of a certain thing. So it's a really interesting way to sort of have a real-time resource gathering game plus an engine building card game, and it plays in about an hour. It's really short, really quick, very Mad Maxy too. It's very apocalypse-y kind of thing, so we're really happy with it.
Man, that's awesome. I love Mad Max. Mad Max is great. I mean, all the movies are fantastic.
Right?
So to play a game that feels like Mad Max is awesome.
Yep.
So, but that's one I definitely am going to need to check out.
Yes. Please come check that one out.
Absolutely. So, is there anything else you'd like to say before we cut this off here? Like maybe direct them toward a website?
Sure. If you guys want to follow along, firesidegames.com is our website. We also have a Twitter and a Facebook and all that. We do have a monthly newsletter if people want to follow along. You can sign up for free, and once a month we'll kind of tell you what we're up to, a little sneak peek of what's coming. That's a nice way to keep up with us. Also, next year is the 10th anniversary of Castle Panic, so keep an eye on that to hear what fun things we're doing to celebrate that.
Oh, speaking of the 10th anniversary of Castle Panic, you guys were talking about on Facebook, I saw a potential big box.
We have a couple of ideas. A big box is definitely one of them. Also a deluxe version. What exactly is in the deluxe version is something we're still looking into. Yes, there are many plans brewing for the next year. Yeah, I'm hoping to have multiple really neat Castle Panic things coming out. Some new stuff, some revised stuff like that. So fingers crossed, and again, a great reason to get that newsletter. Stay up on what we're doing. So.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Mr. DeWitt. I appreciate it.
It was a pleasure to be here.
All right. Well, gamers, board out, game on.